Members standing outside can come inside and occupy the seats. We have exciting sessions. It's my privilege to introduce our next speaker, A.V. Pal sir. Ajit Vasant Pal, a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and been a full-time practice since 1984. He is also a certified information systems auditor, CISA, from ISACA, USA. Also occurred certification CIA, experience more than 30 years in internal audit of banks, including 15 years experience in risk-based internal audit in banks of back operations in CASA, banking, business banking, retail banking, foreign exchange services, centralized clearing, centralized depository operations, cash management services, centralized ECS, DP operations, etc. He is an information systems auditor in a bank on core banking applications, data center operations, main database audit, LAN and operating systems security, treasury server database, retail banking servers, ATM switch, cash management services, DP operations. He has also done cybersecurity audits for UCBs as per RBI requirements. He has also done post-implementation review of newly set up bank overseas deploying FlexCube as core banking software, high-tech payment card system, and phone banking modules. He also has experience in cross-fraud analysis, systems audit of ERP applications, post-implementation reviews, centralized access reviews in Oracle, SAP, Navision, Dynamics, business application, etc. Implementation of security management systems for compliance of ISO 27001 standard globally recognized for information security. Implementation of risk-based internal audit systems for UCBs as per RBI guidelines. He has handled various training-related engagements, and he is also executive committee member of Bangalore ISACA chapter for 2001 to 2005. Conducted more than 50 CPE seminars on audit of banks in core banking, environment in ICA branches in Karnataka, AP, Tamil Nadu through 2003 to 2018. He is also speaker at several seminars at ICA on ISR IT domain. Faculty for DISA course of ICA for past 20 years. Associated with Board of Studies of ICA and the Committee on Information Technology as subject matter expert for syllabus setting and annual review and revision of syllabus for DISA course and paper 6 of CA final and paper 7A of intermediate and practical training course. Invited as speaker at IDIABT, guest faculty at PSB Bank Training Center, guest faculty for Management Institute in Bangalore on IT security and controls for MBA students. With this brief introduction, I hand over the session to the speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Jain, for patiently describing my biodata. Incidentally, I always request that the introduction should be short, but your president said no, for our souvenir we need your detailed biodata, so we give you detailed biodata, but that can be boring sometimes, to hear for people. Okay, thanks a lot. I thank Mr. Manjunath and the entire team for inviting me again here for this session. I think this is, I don't know, whether this is the 6th time or 7th time that I am speaking on this subject in Bangalore branch. Okay. So what is the time now? So how much time do I get now? Pardon? Till people are not hungry. Okay. That's really nice. So my topic today is on auditing in core banking CBS environment. How many of you have had the opportunity to do audit in bank's data center? Anyone has had opportunity to work in data center operations of the bank? Nobody. Okay. How many are the first time auditors for banks here? Okay, quite a few. That's nice. Okay. And how many are CISA, DISA qualified? That's nice. Okay, we have quite a few people here. Okay, now many of you have already been doing audit of branches, and you are always challenged with trying to get the right information which the banks don't want to give you. Am I right? Okay. And, huh? Yeah. Yeah. They will try to delay. But I'll tell you, when I do the branch audit, we get large branch, category 1. I don't submit my report before the 25th of the month. Okay, because I require at least 3 weeks for audit. I cannot be told by anybody that you finish it by 8th or you finish it by 10th. Of course, we make it a point to start on time, but let me tell you, no branch, whether you get category 1 branch or 2 branch or category 3 branch, I don't think you should complete the audit with a minimum of 21 man days. Okay, so if you are not doing that, you are putting yourself to great risk. As Suresh was mentioning now, RBI has started disciplinary action against chartered accountants. Okay, I met one chartered accountant in Mangalore last year when I went there for audit. He has been debarred by institute for 2 years for practicing. He cannot practice for next 2 years. What happened with him was, see, there is a requirement that if a loan which is more than 1 crore becomes, sanctioned, and within 1 year it becomes NPA, it has to be reported separately. Okay, and the matter goes to RBI, then it goes to CBI, etc., etc. So what happens is banks try to cover up, where they have given loans, and then they find that they have botched up. They will do their best to cover it up, and now it's a culture in the bank not to give information where there are problems. So where if you happen to ask for some information casually and it is not being provided, you can be assured that there is a problem there. Okay, so what happened with this chartered accountant was that he had noted that there is a certain account which doesn't look regular. He had asked for data, details, evidence, etc. Were not being provided, and as usual, he was being, forced to complete the audit within so and so date, and he closed it without any remarks on that account. So what happened is that account went bad. It went to RBI. RBI sent him a notice that you have done the branch audit of so and so branch, and this account has failed. Why is it that you have not viewed? So when he went back, when he tried to recollect, he found that he had asked for information and that was not provided. Okay. Then what do you think is the next question RBI asked? Huh? What is the next question which RBI asked? So I will take you to, there is one paragraph that all of us, I'll open a sample audit report. Okay. Is this, no. Ignore it, Salpa. So this is a sample report which I will discuss in brief. This is what we had given last year. Okay. There is one clause. There is one clause. ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೈಜ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕ್ರಿ. ವೇಟ್ ಅ ಮಿನಿಟ್.
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ವೇಟ್. see this. We all sign our bank audit report. What does the standard audit report says? There is an assertion clause. Which is the first clause of the assertion? We have received all the information that we required for our audit and for the purpose of making our opinion. Have you read that? Do you read the audit report before you sign, or the bank gives you the audit report and you sign? I personally feel that is what that Mangalore auditor did. He has not seen what is the body of the audit report. Okay. There is a clause in the audit report which I have marked here in red. It's ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ. ಇದು ರೆಡ್. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ. This is the clause. ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿ. Bring it up. This clause is there. Have you read this? This is a clause that is there in the audit report. It is printed and given to you and you sign it. What is the clause? We have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of audit and found them to be satisfactory. So this chartered accountant was asked by RBI, you say that you now say that you had asked for information and you are not provided. Your audit report says that you have been provided all the information. So he had no answer. His certificate of practice, incidentally, institute has been kind enough. They have, debarred him only from 2 years of practice. So, therefore, I think somebody was also asking earlier, we are not giving, somebody raised this issue. Some member was sitting here. We are asking for it, they are not giving. Make a list of all the informations that you had asked. First of all, ask for information in writing. Okay, write emails. Please provide me for everything. Either you note down and make 2 copies. Okay, if it is in typed or handwriting, note it down, make 2 copies and take acknowledgement, or send mails. I prefer to do that. Every item of information that I want, I'll put it through mail. It doesn't matter if it's going to take time in finishing my audit. Doesn't matter. Don't bother about the time. Okay, that's not at all relevant. They put, see, who are they to? You are the one who has to do the audit. You have to satisfy yourself whether everything is okay. So you will require your time. So you cannot be told that you should finish audit in 1 week or 10 days or 15 days. Please shed this fear. And there I have seen people have this fear that if you don't give the audit report on time, they will not give you next year empanelment. Don't have this fear. It has never happened with me. I have given audit report as late as June 15th. I had one instance in 2014. We were talking about gold loan. No, Suresh was talking about gold loan. I had to classify 17,000 gold loan accounts as NPA, which I asked the bank to do. The bank had to put 2 officers and get it done. And by the time we signed the balance sheet, it was 15th of June. Still the next year's audit came. Okay. Nobody will, if you are unduly delaying the audit and then giving a clean report, then yes, they'll catch you. But if you are giving a report which has sufficient substance, then don't bother about you are going to get delayed. That is not at all a concern. Okay. So I think Mr. Ravindran will touch upon all the other aspects of reporting, but this is in fact a sample that I took, and I'll tell you how is my audit report last year. Okay, we begin with qualifications. Okay, our report always starts with qualification. So somebody. So this is my first para. What does the report say? My report says the bank's balance sheet does not give a true and fair view. I have highlighted it in red. The aforesaid financial statement do not give the information required by the banking regulation in the manner so required for bank and do not give a true and fair view. Why I say that? Because what information was necessary for us was not provided. Okay, so now in fact in our office we have come to believe that if information is not provided, we should be happy. Because if they provide information, then we have to work. Okay, so be happy. If they don't give you information, be happy. Focus on drafting your audit report. Okay, so I'll get back to my topic of the day. ಇದು ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮದು fonts are too small. It's not, I can't see the fonts also. Okay, open the PPT. It's very minuscule. I don't know how he sees it. ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದಿರಲಿ, ಈಗ ಅದು ನನ್ನ ಪಿ ಪಿ ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? Okay, coming back to the topic, how many actually have an idea what is core banking? What is core banking all about? Software for banking operations. Okay. What else do you think it is? Okay. How many of you have exposure in ERPs? You are doing clients who have a lot of ERPs, no? Right? Okay. So, do you think CBS, core banking, is also like an ERP? Is it? How many feel yes? Okay, very good. Then you have done audit in ERP, right? Okay, you have done audit in ERP. So what are the critical aspects that you look into when you do an audit of ERP? Doing audit of data in ERP is different from doing audit of ERP software. So anybody who has experience in audit of ERP? No, okay. But let me tell you, we will now, as a community of auditors, we will now have to slowly graduate from being auditors of data to auditors of systems. Okay, everything is going to become, see, things are going to happen fast. Data processing is going to happen fast. Okay, the time, this cycle time of transactions are going to reduce. Okay, so there is no time and there is no value for historical evaluation of business transactions. Okay, so world over, the audit is now moving towards concurrency. That means audit has to happen with the same pace as business is happening. Okay, so we will have to slowly move from being data auditors to systems auditors. Okay, all along, wherever I have been giving presentations on CBS, I have been focusing only on the functionality of the CBS and what are the risks, etc., etc. See, I started, my first exposure for audit in CBS was somewhere in 2003 or 2004. At that point of time, there was nobody to guide me. I was taking the work and then learning by myself. So then I realized what was my method of learning is, or what was my method of, developing my skills in this field was, I had gone to the root of the software. Okay. I had gone to the root of the software. I know how CBS has been built from the core. And that is why today when I do bank audits, I am able to identify areas where there can be possible irregularities without having to do any data analysis. I don't take data on Excel sheet and then try to find out. Of course, we do that, but my first level of understanding of where there is a problem, where I can spell out, is because I have an understanding of how the software works, what you can do with the software. The software has its own benefits. The software is also useful for criminals. Okay, so what I have decided today is I am going to run through the technical part of it, because I feel slowly all of you will have to get into learning the technical side of ERP, technical side of CBS and all other software. Without that, you may not have the command on the topic. Once in the past also, when I wanted to do that, some chartered accountant said, no, you please take us through what is necessary for the audit today required. But today I have decided I am going to cover the technical side. So all of you are agreeable to it? Sure. I think you must understand the technical side, okay? So I will take you through how the CBS software is structured, okay, and how the structure creates risks. Okay, the nature of the software itself creates risks, okay, and how easily management can commit irregularities. So this is my basic, focus. I'll try to do my best within the time that I've got. Okay, so some of you still have, I think some of you have done, you talked about ERP, you have audited. So what is the software on which ERPs or CBS is built? Any idea? Can anybody say what it is? Okay, next question. Have you heard of what is object-oriented programming? Many of you have done DISA, no? Many of you are already qualified as DISA. So do you remember? I know it's there in the syllabus because I am one of the architects of DISA syllabus. Okay, so there is something called object-oriented programming. Any idea? Anybody has heard? No, okay, so you should know what it is. Okay. See, traditional programming, are you people familiar with traditional programming? I was. I did my BCom in 1980, between 1975 and 1980. So I had computer science as a subject in BCom, and I had actually learned coding in COBOL. I don't know whether you had learned. No, you didn't. Okay. Yeah, COBOL, and so the traditional computer language is a procedural language where the program is written in steps. Okay, so in COBOL, the program is nothing but, a computer program is nothing but a series of steps of instructions, and for a size of a bank, the series of steps of instruction, a program can go into 7 lakh lines or 8 lakh lines or 10 lakh lines. Okay, so till 69, 70, 75, all the banking software was in the traditional mainframes. These are all used for mainframes, and they were traditional software. So that created limitations as banking business started changing. Okay, so this is an example of how COBOL looks like. Okay, so each line item in COBOL, this is the, sorry, this is not working. It pointer work ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ಬನ್ನಿ, ಇದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So COBOL is a program which looks like this. Okay, so what is the okay, so then came the era of object oriented programming. Okay, so what is object oriented programming? Object oriented programming is not a programming language. Okay, it describes the methodology of programming. Okay, it organizes software design around objects. Okay, and and it can adopt abstract messaging as part. So this is the basic feature of object oriented programming, which came around in somewhere in 80s or 90s. So banking industry was the first one to grab the benefits of object oriented programming because it suited very well for banking business. Okay, so what is object oriented programming? In object oriented programming there are 6 factors. Object, so object is a bank. Okay, so sub factor of bank is a class. Class is, say, fixed deposits or loans. Okay, so that is a subset. Okay, then comes inheritance. What is an inheritance? Inheritance is a feature that within the class you can have several products. Okay, like if you have fixed deposits, under fixed deposit you can have fixed deposit for 5 years, fixed deposit of 3 years. So that is an inheritance characteristic. Then comes polymorphism. I'll explain one by one. So this is the feature of object oriented programming. Okay, so here it shows class. So on the left side these are the 5 principles of programming, 5 components of OOP: class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. So class is, say, deposits, object is fixed deposits, inheritance is liabilities, polymorphism means you can redefine your product. Okay, abstraction is you can access it from anywhere. For example, my account, I have a savings account. I can access savings account through my bank. I can access my savings account through an ATM channel. I can access my savings account through internet. Okay, so that is abstraction. Okay, encapsulation is you package each object and then put all the objects together and you get the banking software. Okay, so this is the the difference between OOP and linear programming. To cut down the time, I will not get into explaining everything. Okay, so basically modularity is the chief factor of object oriented programming. It allows modularity. Modularity means you can write a program for a module and then fix it into the system. If you don't want that module, you can remove that. So the banking system will work as it is, but I can add a new product or I can remove a product without stopping the banking software from working, which was not possible under the. Now this is relevant for some reason which you will come to know why I am saying this. Okay, so this is a traditional, this is the landscape of a core banking software. Okay, first thing that we do when you do a systems audit always, first get a landscape of what is the functionality of the software. Always understand that. So you see here there are components, okay. So in the center is the core, okay. Then you have got components like e-payments, treasury, loan origination, core. So each of these components are independent program, okay, which are functioning independently and interacting with the core. Okay. And I can always create, if there is a new kind of business or a new kind of delivery channel that comes, I can always write a module and I can attach it to the core. Same thing happens with ERPs. Okay. So object-wise and relativity-wise diagram, this is in context of that, the 5 features that I had mentioned. Anyway, if those who are interested in learning, you can take it forward and, Cannot. The point that I want to make is that there are so many limitations when you do an audit at branch. Strictly, I would like to do audit only at the back end. For some reasons, we still have this branch concept of audit, which excludes all these things. It's not possible. But I feel that everybody should know, because of course, all of us will not get an opportunity to do audit at the back end, at the data center. But still, we should know. We should know what is there at the back end. Okay, what is there in the data center of the bank? We should know that. Anyway, this classification refers to the those 5 characteristics. I will not get into that now. Okay. This is another landscape of. These are where we have done the audit. This is in the FlexCube. FlexCube's landscape is like this. Okay. This is IBM's. IBM has a banking software, so this is its landscape. Okay. So, and if you come to ERP, this is the landscape that you see. Okay. If you are going to do audit of ERP as an application, then you will see this as landscape. Here also you have components, modular design. Each module is an independent, software program by itself. It can be attached or detached. Okay. So banking business found that the OOP concept is very much useful. The OOP programming methodology is actually designed for banking kind of businesses where, so what is the challenge today in CBS? Your account is in branch. Traditionally, you want to draw cash, you will go to the branch, you will give a check, you will draw cash. Today, if you want to draw cash, where will you go? You will go to ATM. Okay. Or if you want to make a payment, you will use your UPI. UPI will debit your account in the branch. Okay. Or you will transfer money from your account to somebody else through internet banking. So your account operations is no more under the control of the branch. So what is the first fundamental principle when we do an audit? First thing that when you do a transaction audit, what is the first thing that you verify? Whether all transactions are authorized, right? So now we have a branch where transaction is happening, where none of the branch people know what is happening, but the account is there. Account ownership is with branch. Okay, so how do you look at it as an auditor? How do you look at it as an auditor? Okay, so I want this answer at the end of the challenge. So, how has banks adopted the software methodology into its operations? by creating products and parameters. Have you seen those who have done audit in banks, loan statement and all? Have you seen there is something called products? You have seen. Is it relevant for your audit? How do you, okay, I would like you also to speak. Give me a mic. Mic, put it. Anybody? How relevant is this information of product? Have you seen this information? Or I'll open up is this readable? This is a loan statement which banks give us for audit. Right? Am I right? So first left side what you see here is loan category or what is called as product. Okay. What is this product? Different types of loans. Why are they classified under products? Why do you call them product? So all the loans under those products will have the same character. Okay. So this is called productization. Okay. There are two critical aspects in core banking. One is productization and parameterization. If you understand these two things, you will have at least 50% command on your audit. Okay. So now, do you do analysis of the products? We don't do, right? We don't bother. We go by whatever is the specific loan and whatever is the, right? So I'll use a filter. Okay, I'll use a filter. I will eliminate. So this is in one of the banks. When I got the statement, I started looking at this, okay, product analysis. And then I come up with something very interesting. Can you read this? In the list of product, I had two products, the name of which is dummy products. Okay. It will not be there in the loan balance because the loan balance is 0. So in the loan statement, it doesn't appear. Okay. So it is there. So I asked the branch manager, what is this dummy product? Pardon? In the products column. Yeah. In the product, what I have done is I have filtered the product. If you see, loan category. They may call it loan category, some other may call it loan products, it's a different name. So I come across these two products. I ask the manager. The manager thinks I'm also an, basic auditor and you can tell me anything. Okay. So he tells me, I'll ask the data center and I'll tell you what it is. Then after some time he calls me and he tells me, I had spoken to the data center. No, this is only for development purpose that they created the product for some testing purpose. There is no balance in that. Okay, there is something more, there is some very critical information available there. Can you tell me what is that? Account number is there. In the banks, can you open dummy accounts? No. There are two accounts there. Okay. So I asked him, there are two accounts. No, sir, the balance is nil. They had opened the accounts for experimental. I will never, first thing is I will never disclose what I know, what I understand, okay. I said, never mind, since account number is appearing, it means the account is there in the system. I want the statement of accounts. So then, typical, I will have to talk. I know he can access it there. I can also access it there. I can go to one of the CBS association and put that account number. I just want to see to what extent he is going to bluff. Okay, so he tells me, no sir, this is again opened for this. I said, I want the account statement. No sir, it is not there, deleted. Then I told him, look, I am aware that you cannot open a dummy account, which is a violation, serious violation. Okay, if you want to do, first of all, what the branch manager is not aware is, the protocol for program is, if you want to do any experimentation, you have to do it in a test environment, you cannot do it in a live environment. Okay, and once an account is open, you cannot delete. These are fundamental banking laws. If you open an account and delete, then it amounts to fraud. Okay, so then I showed him. I asked him, should I take the system out? Then he took the printout. So what it turned out was, there were two fraudulent transactions. Some debits have come into the bank. In this account is a genuine account, customer's account. His account has got debited. Okay, and he has taken up the dispute, and they had to settle him. They settled him and did not show the settlement through the account. Okay, so what they have done is they have passed a transfer entry from the branch to regional head. So now he tells me this account has been transferred, so it doesn't come under your audit. So asking me to overlook that. I said nothing doing. It is a reportable matter for me because, see, my audit information is not only pertains to accounts. Anything that is happening in the branch, which can be of a concern to the bank, it becomes a subject matter for me to report. I said, I have to report. He said, no, these transactions have happened in earlier years. It has happened 2 years back. I said, I still have to report. Okay, so I took those statement of accounts and then put it in my report. Then after that I came to know this was some fraud that had happened and it had not got reported. Please remember, any fraud in the bank has the responsibility to report fraud to RBI. Okay, so this is a serious violation that they had done, covering up the fraud. Therefore, looking at products, trying to analyze how they have been done, trying to analyze what they contain is a very, very, very important function in an audit. Okay. Now, who should do this? Typically, this should be done by the central auditors. What the central auditors should do is, as a systems audit, what I will do is, I will obtain information from the bank, what were the number of products you had at the beginning of the year, how many new products you have added, categories you have added during the year, how many new old categories you have deleted, and what is the final balance number that you have. And new products that have been added or products that have been changed, I would like to verify why they have done it. and then accordingly advise the branch auditor. I'll show you one more instance which is much more serious than this, of how NPA was manipulated by transferring loans from one product to another product. I've just, this was in a very large bank, okay. So I've just selected, is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ large body. This was in an agricultural lending branch, okay. They had several products. I mean, this was a very large branch, okay, agriculture branch. In fact, it was the largest agricultural branch in Karnataka. Okay, so I started looking, full ಬರಬೇಕು, full ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, left side ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಸಾಕು. So what is the product here? This is a crop loan for spices. The word used is spices. Okay, now where is this branch? This branch is located in Chikkaballapur. Spices are not grown in Chikkaballapur. Okay, so first question I asked him, why have you lent for spices in Chikkaballapur? Then he says, no sir, it's a wrong product head they have given, because Chikkaballapur is famous for grapes, and that bank had a large number of grape loan. There's a different product for grapes also. There is a different product for grapes. So I said, you already have, then I called for the papers, each loan account I called, and then I selected some 4-5, and I found that they have been lending for grape growing. I said, these loans are for grapes, then why have you classified under spices? No sir, that is only product, you don't go by that. Okay, it's only for, by mistake they have put it, you don't look at product. In fact, many managers will tell you, don't look at that at all. Okay, sometimes mistakes happen. I said, nothing doing. I want to see the product master sheet for grapes and product master sheet for spices. So what had happened is, for spices term loan, the moratorium period is 8 years. For grapes, the moratorium period is 5 years. 5 years have elapsed. These people are not paying. It becomes a substandard. So what you do? Simply pick up all those loans, transfer it into another product. So all those loans, 3 crore 31 lakhs. See, other thing I'll tell you what you need to understand. When you find a large number of irregularity, okay, don't bother to identify each loan and what is the irregularity and document it. I don't do that. What I say is, this whole thing is irregular. This has to be classified as NPA. If you feel any accounts is not NPA, then you take out document and show it to me. I am not going to sit and run through every account and see what is the date of NPA. No. You first agree whether they are all NPA or not NPA. If you say you don't agree they are all NPA, then you have to find out one by one. So don't do donkey work. I know some auditors, because the number of accounts are very large, how to classify all the accounts. I will classify only 4 or 5 accounts and I will give audit note. No, don't do that. Please remember, whose responsibility it is to prepare MOC? We are to prepare the MOC, or branch has to prepare the MOC? We are to prepare the MOC? Are you sure? Are you sure? Huh? I would request you to read the circulars once again. It is not the responsibility responsibility of the auditor to prepare MOC. Auditor points out these are the accounts which are required reclassification. The branch has to do it and the auditor has to verify it. Please don't do, that's why I said don't become donkeys. I will do everything. In fact, some of the banks have now automated it. So there are two clear modules. So there you will see, supposing you are doing audit in State Bank of India, the branch has to fill up the MOC, then you have to verify and check. Okay? So the responsibility of preparing MOC is not yours. Please don't do that. You identify and tell the, and branch has to do, I'll tell you. Once the auditor says these, in my opinion, these are reclassified as NPA, branch has to do that. If the branch doesn't do, don't sign your audit report. Okay? So please keep that in mind. So point out, you tell, I will tell them, these are all NPAs you classify. Now if he doesn't want to classify, now it is his duty to take out each account, verify and then decide. But because he already knows why it has done, he agrees to classify. Okay? So productization is a very, very, very critical aspect which I learned because I learned how the programming is built. Understand? The modularity concept, the inheritance concept which was there. So I know how the CBS software that is there in my bank, I know how it is programmed. Okay? And therefore I know what can be done. Now 2 years back we had this case of Punjab and Maharashtra cooperative bank case. Are you aware? No, fraud. Bank got closed. Fraud was something like, it's a small cooperative bank. The bank chairman himself was, CMD was involved. He had given away 70% of the funds of the bank to one company, HDIL, as loans. And that company had become bad, bank became bad. So during the course of forensic audit, the auditors found that the CMD had opened 21,064 savings account. Now you have to tell me how he did it. Can you open 21,000 accounts and keep it in your control? So how do you think he did it? He created a separate product, and under that product he went on opening accounts, and he made sure that that product is not appearing anywhere in the reports. See what happens in banking operations, data center operations is, there are administrator passwords for applications as well as for your servers, okay? Operating systems servers and application servers, there are administrator passwords. So there is a convention that, see what happens is, whoever has the administrator password, he has a lot of power. He can delete the whole data. He can hold the bank at ransom. So as a protection measure, as a security measure, there is a super administrator password. And that super administrator password is put in an envelope, closed envelope, and it is given to the top person of the bank, CMD. Now in Punjab and Maharashtra bank, the MD had the super password. With the help of an IT person who is not in the bank, he accessed the bank's data, created a product, went on opening the accounts. Only he can see, nobody else can see. Okay? And this is how he had made sure that he doesn't get caught. And this came out only at the time of forensic audit. But whoever was doing the data center operations audit, in a data center operations audit, I look at who are the administrators, what are their roles and responsibilities, and I look at administrator logs. So if somebody had done data center operations audit and downloaded administrator logs, he would have found that super administrator has been used, and he could have questioned why it has been used. Okay. So even in CBS, an effective audit of CBS is possible only if a proper audit is done at data center. Okay. Otherwise you don't know what you're doing. You are in what I say is you are in a pitch black basement looking for a black cat. It's as simple as that, doing audit. Yes, sir. Of course, for all users. Okay, one of the things that you have to do is how many users are there in the branch? What are their privileges? See, all banking software provide 4 kinds of privileges. One is manager, one is officer, one is teller, and one is an auditor. If you are doing concurrent audit, you are given concurrent auditors. That is a view only access. So for all the, you should actually do an audit of user access at the branch. I was talking to you about all transactions authorized. Okay. So how do you know that? Okay, forget the transactions which are coming from other channels. Transactions which have occurred in the bank itself. How do you know all transactions are properly authorized? You have to look at user reports, and you should look at exception reports. Okay, you have to call for exception reports. Okay, so manager, normally access is, there is a concept of maker checker. So the teller will put the transaction, the officer will approve it. Okay, that is a maker checker concept which is there. Manager's access is only view. Manager cannot put a transaction, and manager cannot approve the transaction generally. Okay, so you have to check whether these privileges have been observed. Then only you can conclude that transactions have been authorized in a branch in accordance with the bank's requirements. Okay. I mean, if you have done DISA or if you have done CISA, you will automatically get to know all that. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Log reports are there. Logs have to be enabled. Yes. Yes. So whether exception reports have been configured to capture transaction on holidays. See, these are all audits. These are all audits. Nobody, as I know, none of the central auditor goes to data center. See, so right, the method in which we are doing bank, I'll tell you, if give me 15 days time in data center operations, I will tell all the branch auditors what problem is there in your, what problem can be there in your branch. After all, whom do we report? We report, branch auditor reports to whom? Central auditors. Branch auditor doesn't report to RBI or anybody, he reports to central auditors. So central auditor does a preliminary assessment, then it helps him in getting more effective reports. But still we have not reached that stage, it is still not happening. Okay, but anyway, let's hope. That's why I said, why it's not happening is because we are not undergoing learning from the very basics. We are learning from whatever exposure. Now, when I talk about ERP, all of us are learning about it. Okay, tell me, I'll ask one simple question. Tally. Everybody is familiar with Tally? Okay. How is the data stored inside Tally? What output you get from Tally? You will get cash book, you will get ledger, you will get trial balance, you will get balance sheet, you will get P&L, you will get, so is this all formatted and stored inside Tally? I go on inputting vouchers, right? So what does Tally create and store inside? Huh? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, what table? So for cash book table or bank book table or ledger tables are you talking about? Reports, okay. So what is the table that will be there? Voucher entry. Okay. Tally's internal data structure has only 5 elements. Hmm? So there are only 5 elements the data base in Tally stores. What is that? Date. What are the items in the voucher? Standard item. Date, account head, debit or credit, debit amount or credit amount. So debit is there means that amount is debit. So debit. So date, account head, debit or credit, amount, narration. This is all that is stored inside Tally. You want a trial balance? You want a cash book? There is a program which will look for account head cash book. It will pick out all the transaction in 1 second and create a cash book and give it to you. You want a bank book? Pick out all the transactions which has got bank account, indexation as you said, indexation. That is how the reports are indexed. It will take out all the data which has got mention of bank account. It will create a bank book and give you. You want a trial balance? It will run through all the transactions. That is why you can, in Tally you can take balance sheet from 1st April to 25th August or from 4th July to 29th of December. You can take for any period, no? It doesn't say you have to take up for a fixed period. Am I right? How is that possible? Because it doesn't store data in that format. It stores data in plain vanilla format. Okay, because I'll tell you the funniest part of it is earlier when people wanted to compete with Tally and they were trying to crack Tally software. Okay, a lot of IT guys were trying to crack Tally software and they came to a conclusion, Tally cannot be cracked. I said, what are you talking? You show me why it cannot be cracked. He says, no, I've got utilities for cracking software, it is not able to crack. I said, show me. So he cracked one Tally. What is there? Only 5 items are there. He said, look, we can get only these 5 items, we cannot get anything else. I said, fair enough. That is what is required in accounting. The rest is all programming. So, getting to know, I'll tell you, as auditors, in coming days, we have to become more and more tech-oriented rather than data-oriented. You have to become more and more system-oriented. Okay, so we need to get into the depth of the functionality from which you are getting data which you are certifying. Okay, now we are moving into another level where we have got cloud-based systems like Zoho and other things. So what kind of challenges they have, how they are programmed. But I'll tell you, they are far better than Tally in many respects. But we need to understand that. Okay, our perspective in doing audits have to change. Okay, so now coming back, productization is one single. I cannot tell you what you should look for. Again, I'll tell you, a lot of people tell me, okay sir, when I do product analysis, what I should look for? I said, you should develop that penetrative thought process. You should, as an auditor, now I am in my 40th year. When I look at the data, I can get the feeling, yeah, something is wrong, something may be unusual here, something may be unusual here. See, you have to cultivate that skill. You should, there is one book by, who is that, Hercule Poirot, who's the author? Agatha Christie's book, Murder on Oriental Express. Super book. There's in Agatha Christie's series, there is one investigator called Hercule Poirot. Okay, so he's questioned by one, he always finds out murders and all. So one common citizen lady asks him, Hercules, what is it that you are able to find something and the same thing we are not able to find? So he said, I have a natural instinct of when I see anything out of place, I start suspecting. If I find a cigarette butt here, he says, most people will not bother, will think that somebody had come here and smoked. He says, I will start thinking, why did somebody smoke here? It should not be here. You know, and then I will try to, that is how, you know, then my process starts, thought process starts. So similarly, when you do audit, a lot of clues I get while discussing with the branch manager. The way he responds. First of all, I assess him, what is his background. Okay. There is one instance where, you know, somewhere in Raichur, a large loan was sanctioned and disbursed on 15th of March. 31st March is our reporting date and it has been disbursed. So I called for this paper. The manager said, sir, इसमें you will not, इसमें कुछ देख, he's from Orissa, इसमें कुछ देखने का नहीं है sir, इसमें कहाँ NPA हो सकता है वगैरह. Said, I want to see. Suresh was talking of assessments, no? How you make term loan assessments. And it was a reportable because all loans beyond 2 crores, there's a separate report for RBI. I'm sure all of you are aware of that, right? You have to write a separate report. I said, I must write. So I want to visit the site, I said. Okay, I'll tell you one more thing. I've seen auditors don't visit borrowers. You must make it a point, you must program that at least the top 3 borrowers you must visit, because when you visit, you see something different, invariably. Okay, visiting borrowers for a large client, whether even if it is cash credit also, you must visit, go and see what is there in his godown. Okay, now this branch manager was heading a non-operational post in Calcutta. And he had got transferred on promotion and come to Raichur. So this is the first thing I observed when at the start of the audit. I had asked him, he said, I have just joined last year. I was in Calcutta. I asked him, have you ever handled advances? He said, no. This is the first year that I have done. So I know he is a risk. Okay, so these qualitative aspects has to be understood. So this advance has been, and he was very proud that he facilitated this advance. So I had to audit it, whether it becomes NPA or no NPA. Now what is this project? This project is a project for manufacturing formaldehyde, a chemical called formaldehyde. Okay, what is formaldehyde? I look up at Google. It is traditionally known as formalin. What is formalin? Formalin is a chemical which is used to preserve dead bodies by hospitals. Unfortunately, today what has happened is formalin or formaldehyde is used to preserve fish. Our coastal Andhra and in coastal Karnataka, Kerala, some state governments have already banned it because it is highly carcinogenic. So this man has set up a project. So then I look at who are the people behind the project. So there is one Punjabi fellow who is a chemical expert. He has come down from North India. He was working somewhere. He has retired there. He has been retained. Now who is the promoter? Promoter is a local politician. So that is second risk for me. Okay, so I said I must go and see that. Okay, so what I did next was I asked for accounts, statement of accounts. He said, no, 15th only we have started operations. Then I said, let's go there to the factory and see what is there. Okay, then my assessment that I found, I had read the project report. Okay, what has been shown in the project report as the capacity for production is not there. How did I determine this? How did I determine this? I did not go and calculate. I only asked them 15 days operation. I asked that Sardarji. I did not talk to the other people. He is in charge of plant. I asked him, are you running the plant? He says, last 15 days it is full operation. Are you running at full capacity? He said, yes. How much have you produced? He showed me. He showed me what has been the production every day. And don't talk or don't ask further questions. Okay. Then I come back with the branch manager. Branch manager is also sitting. I said, let us sit and compute now. If the factory runs for 350 days, how much is the production? Capacity shown in the report is much more. Okay. So that is where he got first alarm. The second more important thing was, what is the operation? Now this operation, what this company was doing is, it was buying chemical, mixing it in water. The moment you mix it in water, it becomes formaldehyde. So what is the value addition? I can do it at home also. So if there is no value addition, then will the project be viable? Okay. Then I looked for sources of supply of that chemical. It is imported from Thailand. Okay. Now I am aware that when you have imports, you have to import in a container load. You cannot import any substance in less than container load, because then your shipping cost becomes high. So I looked at, see, that 15 days production, they had already raised invoice. So I looked at what is the sale price at which he has sold. Then I looked at the purchase, because it was import under LC. Import. Then I had asked him how much water is to put for that chemical. So I know the ratio. So we could find out what is the purchase cost and what is the selling price. Okay, the margin between purchase cost and selling price was not even 3%. Okay, so I asked the manager, where is your evaluation? So then he started sweating. Okay. Next, I reported that to the Reserve Bank. I mean, in that format, giving complete, the reasoning, my finding as to why the project is not viable. Okay. Then in the next year's audit, when I went there, we had to go to Hubli for audit. Regional office, I asked them what happened. That was supposed to be a very good account. No, sir, that account has already become bad. See, now I'll tell you, if I had not done that, what is the RBI's mandate? Any account going bad within 1 year, any account above rupees 1 crore, if it goes bad within 1 year, the RBI investigates and auditor will also be questioned. So I did not close my mind saying that this has been just disbursed 15 days only. So, okay. So when you do your audit, even those accounts which look, I'll tell you, I saved myself. Otherwise, I am very sure we would have got notice from RBI. I did not get, because I had even predicted this account is going to go bad. This is unviable project. I have given all these remarks. So fortunately, I did not get notice from Reserve Bank. So please remember, all accounts more than, I think now it's 2 crores, I think, no? For RBI reporting, 2 crores and above, please do your audit thoroughly. Don't get, the problem that I have seen is, people get cowed down by either the branch manager or the regional manager. I'll tell you, sometimes we start getting calls from regional manager and he starts talking about particular account. If the regional manager calls me and talks about particular account, means I know that account is bad. If a senior officer is calling me to discuss on that account, my suspicions are confirmed. Okay, so keep these things in. I don't know what is the time factor. I'll discuss one more aspect. I'll discuss productization. I'll discuss parameterization. 5 minutes, okay. The rest of the presentation I will share, and I will also share my number, and I am always enthused by anybody who is doing bank audit. You can call me at any point of time. For any direction, any help, any assistance, I am always available. I like that, okay. So, I spoke about productization. The other thing in banking software is parameterization. Okay, so what is parameterization? Two quick aspects I will touch and then I will close. Products and parameters. Okay, let it be there this way. What are parameters in an account? You take any account, rules. Okay, so using core banking, using the object-oriented technology, parameterization is a operational function which helps banks to handle large volume of business. I'll tell you how. Car loan. Traditionally, how it used to happen, every application will come for car loan, that will go to the higher officer, he will have to sit and go through it, and then he will give approval. After 15 days it comes. By parameterizing car loans, what do? We create a table. If a person has got 10 lakhs of rupees income, he is eligible for a car loan of 3 lakhs. If your income is between 10 to 15 lakhs, you are eligible for 5 lakhs. If you are 15 to 20 lakhs, you are eligible for 20 lakhs. If your salary income is 10 lakhs, then the interest rate charge will be less, because low risk will charge you only 9%. If your salary is less and still you want to be given loan, charge you 10%. If your salary is below 7 lakhs, you are not eligible. I create a parameter table, put it in my core banking software, then I don't need an officer to sit and verify whether this loan is eligible, this loan is not eligible. You don't have to do it. Okay, so all that business that comes will run through the software, and software will say this is permissible, this is not permissible. So that is parameterization. So now from your audit point of view, where you have to look for parameterization is interest calculations. Interest calculations are parameterized. Okay. For what product, what is the interest rate? For this product, this is the interest rate. Okay. What do these banks do? When they change the product from one head to another head, you can always favor somebody by bringing him into lower rate of interest instead of higher. See, these are all things that happen. Okay. They will tell you, no sir, we cannot do anything in branch, everything happens. Don't believe any of these things. You do your checks. Okay. Because the business, banking business has been grown over the years due to productization and parameterization only. Okay, in 1990, when Manmohan Singh announced liberalization of banking, he allowed private sector banks to come. Okay, who were the first one to come? HDFC and ICICI Bank. Within 10 years, they caught up with State Bank of India. How did they do that? How did they do that? Okay, 2 minutes. I've been given mandate 2 minutes. So what I'll do is, I will quickly come to this strategy. This is the last slide. Okay, this is how bankers adopted core banking. Okay, traditional banking, centralized business and decentralized operations. In core banking, what they did is they centralized operations and decentralized business. Okay, common hierarchy for business and operations, whereas separate hierarchy for, so operations is different, doing business is different. Okay, then business and services were oriented to customer requirement, business and services are productized and operations are parameterized. So this becomes the core of how CBS operates. Okay, so anyway, I think a lot of people are hungry, so it's time to stop now for me. So I will share there is some presentation which is there in the book. This is another presentation which I will share separately. Okay, so thank you all. I'm sorry, if I had more time, I could have discussed in much greater length, and there is still some more things to be discussed. So contact number, I don't, last slide haki idaರಲ್ಲಿ contact number irutte last ಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ slide. No,
That is last.
no, huh?
23, that is last.
Okay,
23, that is last.
no, I'll put the contact number, not a problem. I will add one more slide.
You can edit here too.
Okay, I'll just put my contact number here. Huh? It is there in this thing. This is my mobile number and this is my email. Phone number is this.
No, one digit is missing.
99098. It's there. If you see the souvenir in this presentation which is there in the souvenir at the end, my mobile number and email ID both are there. Okay, or after lunch also I can give you, not a problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. On behalf of the members present here and on behalf of the managing committee members of Bangalore branch of ICAI, I thank the speaker, CA A.V. Paul, sir, for the thoughtful session. Now I request our chairman, CA Manjunath Hallur, Bangalore branch, to present a memento as a token of gratitude. Members, can you wait for 2 minutes? 1 minute, 1 minute? Yeah.